Everyone knows me by name. That's the best part here. And everyone knows what I do in CMU. That's even more best. And you know I come from India. But I thought today I'll take this opportunity and show you how my family looks. Of course, they look brown, but definitely not like me. Okay? So I just asked them to send few pictures which has me in it. Yeah, that's my family. I specifically asked them to pull some pictures which have me because you don't think I'm scamming you with showing someone else. So it's my family. I'll start from left to right. That's how it is. That's my father. He works as a principal in Seventh-day Adventist school. It's a boarding school. They have approximately like 300 to 350 children. And that's my mother, who is working in the same school as an assistant in principal's office. And then that's my sister, Pearlie. See, mother and father doesn't have names. They have names, but my sister is more important, so I'm mentioning her name, Pearlie. So that's Pearlie. She's doing her computer science engineering, and she is in her final semester. And the one at the bottom who is like, he's excited. That's my brother, Joe. He is in his 3rd grade. And that's, of course, me. Don't ask what I'm doing. I'm looking at food. And the next, I just pulled a couple of pictures. And that's one more. We are just right after church, we took that. And, of course, I already introduced them. So that's my family. Do I look good? Later, you can tell me that. Because I picked only the pictures I look good. So you have to be telling me later. And there are the other one. This one, of course, I'm not there because they clicked it when I'm not there. And then, yes, this is, I think, last week they have clicked this picture and they have sent me. See how cute my brother is? Enjoying all the limelight there. And that's the final picture which is coming is me and my brother. And he picked today's dress, which I'm wearing, so that's why it's coincidence. Okay, that's my family. And those are the only pictures I have. I can show you more of them, maybe some other time. But for now, that's it. Today, my sermon is all about the hope of the hopeless. So a couple of years back, I was reading this book. Before that, let me thank Leslie for saving me from children's story. If I would tell children's story, Johnny or anyone would be really crying. So that's a save, and thank you, Leslie, for accepting it. So a couple of years back, I was reading this book called Escape from Camp 14. It was about a remarkable journey of a man called Shin from North Korea to the freedom in West. So when you hear about North Korea, the first thing comes into your mind is, the leader. Of course, I can't get deported from here, so I can talk about him. So the Kim Jong, he is the leader of them. And you can see this country is in poverty. The way they live is completely different than how we live here. Everything is so different there. And we can't even live there. If we imagine being born there, that would be like a hell. But he, along with his mother and brother, they used to live a place called Camp 14. That is totally guarded by the security guards. It's a heavily guarded place. So this 13-year-old boy, his only job is to go to school and come back. His mother and his brother, they used to go to work and they come back. So one day, this 13-year-old kid, he heard his mother and brother talking about escaping from Camp 14. They didn't even tell him, but he heard mother and brother are planning an escape. Now, being a 13-year-old kid, he thought, oh, you didn't tell me this? Okay, let me say it. But while he was sleeping, he overheard his mother telling his brother, either way we are escaping, let's prepare a meal. Let me prepare rice for you. Okay, rice is something, it's very occasionally they make it North Korea when you have special occasions. But when he heard this, that, oh, now, being 13-year-old kid, he thought, oh, my mother want to give rice to my brother? Food makes you jealous. I think sometimes my mother wants to cook for my sister, not me. Either way, I eat it. But, so, rice made him crazy. He was like, oh, you want to cook for the brother? And he was too jealous about it. And now, being jealous, he thought, enough is enough. I can't take it anymore. I can't deal with this anymore. And then he did something really unimaginable. He went and he was searching for someone who he can talk about. So sometimes you have to ever look who you talk with. It could be someone who are good to you, someone who can really ruin you. So he went and he picked his school's night guard and told, you know one thing? My mother and my brother are planning to escape. And he was expecting only a reward because he's ratting his mother and brother. And then this night guard did something even more exceptionally good. He went and he told to the North Korean guards that, you know what? I heard that the mother and brother of Shin are trying to plan to escape. Boom. They dragged Shin. Instead of a reward, they have rewarded him by torturing for 4 days to know their execution and the planning, how they are going to escape from North Korea. He was in prison for 7 months, and he was tortured. He's just a 13-year-old kid. And after 7 months, he was released out of prison, and they took him blindfolded and tied his hands behind. And then what they did is they made him forcefully see his mother and brother's execution. That's the moment where Shin felt, ouch, that's me. Because of me, this happened. If I would shut my mouth that day, today, I would not see my mother and brother being executed. I'm so sorry, Johnny's having snacks. It's so distracting. Either way, he can have it. So he thought I was the reason for it. I am the one. My mother and brother were executed. That was the regret in his life. Even at times, he felt bad, but what is done is done. He can't undo it. And after that, Shin has planned twice to escape from North Korea, and twice he had failed miserably. In 1999, he escaped, and within days, he was caught back. And again in 2001, he escaped to China, and within 4 months, he is deported back to North Korea. And then you know what? That's called fireworks working. He was tortured again. And he was tortured this time for 8 months. And I'm sorry, Mary Beth, I can't change the story. That is what it is. It's a biography. It's real. So, after that, he was tortured for 8 months, and he's kept in a tiny prison, concrete prison. And all these 8 months, he was thinking that he was hopeless and full of despair, and it's killing him slowly. And after that, in prison, he met someone called someone who is a political prisoner, who had traveled outside North Korea, who had an education. And when he was talking with that political prisoner, Shin understood that outside North Korea, it's not how it is in North Korea. He didn't have this exposure, and he didn't have the knowledge of it, so he was caught twice. So this time he said, if you help me, I would escape. And then in 2005, 2nd Jan, the political prisoner and Shin, they have just wore an old uniform, the North Korean uniform, military uniform, and they have bribed North Korean border guards, and they have sneaked into Korea. Poor Shin, he didn't know how to bribe before, so he couldn't make it twice. Money can make anything. That's fact. You can go anywhere, you can do anything. Money can buy you things which anyone can't buy. But I don't have that. That's another part. So, when he came outside of North Korea, he had his fake identity. He's no more Shin. And then he's working in a restaurant for a couple of months. After that, there was this one journalist who had identified Shin and thought his story would make history. And he took him directly to South Korean embassy, and from there he got his asylum. And then now he's in United States with a different name, which I don't know. I don't have access to the records, so I don't know. The book ended there. But during all these hopeless days, Shin always had a hope that he would see a light one day. But he didn't know when it was. And all he got is nothing to lose. If he's caught again, they would torture him. Believe me, once the body gets hitting, it would be really great when you get hit again. Because your body already knows how the pain feels. So it doesn't make much difference when you are hit again and again, because your body has a tolerance to take the pain. So now, when we see in Bible, there are many men and women who doesn't have hope, who doesn't have any kind of hope. They are at the end of their rope, and their faith is being tested. At such times, the only thing you can do is look at God. He is the only one who can help you, no matter how difficult the circumstances, or no matter what it is. If you turn to him, he could be your present hope. He is the only one who can lift your head up. And as you all know, in Old Testament, there is this prophet called Elijah. I don't want you to get up, so I'm doing all the work. Leslie, this is for you. So you know Elijah. He is the one. No, I don't want you to do the work. Okay, I can't help. So, I just made everything possible for you easy, but you want hard work. Great. So, Elijah, as you all know, he was a prophet, and he is the one who has spoke with kings the way God wanted. He's the one who was up there, friend, telling King Ahab that you're going to have drought. And once he said that, God said, run. And he's running. And he's the one who is putting his life on brim, and he's doing all God's work. While he's running, and there's one time God said, stop. You have to go to this place called Zarephath. Once you're there, you will find a woman. If you turn your Bibles to Psalms 65:2.
My soul wait silently for God alone, for my expectation is from him.
So that is what it is. He's telling, keep your hope on me. And you keep your hope on me, and you run. I am there. You depend on me. So that's when he went. And he found this widow and he said, you know what? Get me some water and some bread. That's an easy request. Get me some water and bread. I didn't find anything difficult in this. If someone would ask me, buy me a lunch, make me a lunch, definitely I would buy them a lunch because I don't cook. So, but if they would ask for some water, I would go in an extent, I would buy them some cream soda or root beer, which I drink. So, but this was not a difficult request. It was definitely not. But do you know what the women said? If you turn your Bibles to 1 Kings, 17th chapter, 12th verse, you can see what the women said.
So she said, as the Lord your God lives, I do not have bread, only a handful of flour in a bin, and a little oil in a jar. And see, I am gathering a couple of sticks, that I may go in and prepare it for myself and my son, that we may eat it and die.
Mary Beth, can you go ahead and read it again? What does she have? All she's left with?
I do not have bread, only a handful of flour in a bin.
Stop there. Can you repeat it again?
I do not have bread, only a handful of flour in a bin.
That's it. She only has a handful of flour and a bit of olive oil. And now, when she said that, Elijah said, no problem, just go, make first for me the meal and bring it back. When he said that, if someone would say that to me, I would be like, I am not going to do that. I'm not going to do that. I'm not going to give you the last bit of my food, and I would starve to that for what? I would fight the every inch. Not even to my sister or brother I would share my food. They know that by now. But this woman didn't say anything. She said, I just don't have food. He said, just go, make it. And then when he said that, she went and she made the bread. Her situation is seemingly hopeless. She just came there to pick the firework and go back, cook something, eat, and die. She already predicted her death. That's fancy. I would not do that. But she is in the situation where there is no help. And then, you see, the handful is the only key for a miracle to happen there. When the women went and she started to make the food, she started to obey God's instructions directly or indirectly. For Elijah, God told, you go, she will provide it. But when Elijah came and asked, can you provide me food? She said, I don't have anything. You can see God didn't tell the women. But Elijah told the women to go and make it. God didn't speak with the woman. Elijah did. But she trusted it. Amen. So when she released what's in her hand, the God has intervened into her circumstances and her supernatural abundance. Through his supernatural abundance, he released what is in his hand. And she has a lot to eat. Sometimes we might feel that the instructions of God are so confusing. Why would God ask someone who is about to die to give her food to someone? It was not the purpose for her demise, but it's his purpose to bless her. That's an amazing miracle which God did. It was a time where drought and famine was there, and the woman is so desperate. And now, from having nothing, now she has more than enough in her place, in her hands. And she is able to live. And she's able to feed the son. Not the son, her son, I mean. So from the brink of death, she went to the full of hope, where she can have plenty. And that's what is belief. Sometimes when you believe God, you have to not ask for logics. It doesn't work that way. And from completely hopeless situation, she went to having a full of hope. There are some things which we cannot expect from God. Even the women could not expect while she was preparing a meal for Eliza that she would have plenty to eat, but she did have. The same way, there are some in Bible. If you turn your Bibles to Mark, don't turn your Bibles to Mark, just open the book to Mark. 5th chapter, 23rd verse.
And begged him earnestly, saying, My little daughter lies at the point of death. Come and lay your hands on her, that she may be healed, and she will live.
1 second, Miss Sue. Can you read it again? I'm so sorry. You have to keep reading it.
And begged him earnestly, saying,
1 second there. You can stop there. You can continue, but 1 second. When it says that, and begged him earnestly. Who is begging whom? Who would be begging whom? No one knows. But if you read through it more, you can see who is begging for whom and for what. Go ahead, Miss Sue.
And begged him earnestly, saying, My little daughter lies at the point of death. Come and lay your hands on her, that she may be healed, and she will live.
That's perfect. Amen. Someone is begging someone, asking them, my little daughter is not feeling well. Can you come and can you touch her or put your hand on her so that she would live? How many of us here would go to hospital and say, Doctor, can you please touch me? I would be healed. No one is raising their hand? Okay. But here, someone is asking someone. So who is that someone? If you go through the whole chapter, you can know. But I would give the gist so that you don't think I'm crazy out of context. So I want to tell you, this is called Jairus. He is an important person in the town. And he came running to Jesus Christ and said, can you come and touch my daughter? She's very ill. She's not feeling good. Can you please touch her? And Jesus said, okay, it's fine, I'll come. And here, when Jairus was begging, you have to remember that he is not a Christian, and he just believed that if this man come and touch my daughter, she would be alive. He only believed it. How the faith came? Because he's desperate. He wanted to try every part of it so that his daughter can be alive. So here, the situation where Jairus was hopeless, it was another situation for someone who made an opportunity. So one more hopeless person is in the same scenario along with Jairus, standing there waiting for the opportunity of hope. While Jesus was on his way to Jairus' place, there was this crowd which became inconvenient barrier for Jesus and the miracle which need to happen. The crowd are between the one who can make a miracle and the one who is what a miracle needs to happen. So the crowd is the very thing Jesus has used to make another miracle. So when he created an opportunity for the faith to be executed, when the crowd is pulling Jesus back, he can feel that there was someone touching his clothes. And then he was like, wait, someone did touch my clothes. And you can see this woman who is weakened and was bleeding for 12 years, she had the hope. And if the crowd would not slow down Jesus, this woman would possibly not make near Jesus. She would not even touch. So at two places, two hopeless people are going to have hope. Jairus still didn't have hope, but he's expecting to have it if Jesus is there. But this woman, the moment she touched his clothes, he has acknowledged it. If you read the whole chapter, you can know everything, how God has acknowledged it. But that was a very one place where you can see someone who is hopeless for 12 years. If it would happen for 5 days, I would be like all crazy. You could not find me being me. I would shout on my family. I would be so crazy. I would call someone at the middle of the night. Not my night, their night. Because it's morning for me. I would not ask anyone to disturb me after 9:45. But they would pick my calls. My cousin, Suma and Sudha, I would call them and they would be sleeping. They would be like, Shirley, why did you call? Talk. Just talk. They were like, you know what? This is middle of the night. I was like, I need someone to talk. Talk. They understand it. Because in India, I would not call them very often. But now, they understand that maybe I might need it. And they talk. So this woman, for 5 days, I was so that crazy. And this woman, for 12 years, she's suffering. There is no hope for her. But then the faith in her thought, maybe if I touch, maybe. Or she might think, if I touch, it would happen. That would be very firm. So then she went and she touched. In between all this, Jairus took Jesus to his place. And then someone said, this is very, very good. When people who are in Jairus' place, they were like, oh, Jairus, your daughter is already dead. Why are you bothering the teacher? Send him back. People who are around us sometimes would be like, really, 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 making us feel more hopeless. Is that what you want to tell a father who is like trying to save a kid? That your daughter is dead? And they were all over him and saying, send him back. He can't do anything now. There was no hope for those people. They thought when she is alive, there is a hope if he touch. But when she is dead, there is no hope. And then Jesus said, if you still read into the chapter, you can see that Jesus said, don't be afraid, only believe. He didn't say that, oh, I can do this, don't worry about it. He said, don't be afraid, I'm here now. Let me do my thing. Sometimes the enemy destroys your hope by running your faith. And Jesus is the hope for the hopeless. He's the only one who can bring hope. This woman was suffering, and there is a woman who is almost about to die without bread or food, and there is this man who is struggling to get his daughter all well and healthy. All these scenarios, you can see that they are hopeless. In these 4 scenarios, I have showed you 4 scenarios 4 situations where people are really, really hopeless. We pray to God. Often when there is a great tragedy, we try to run to Christ. When you don't have any needs or wants, you don't have the hunger for Christ or God. We are like, oh, I have everything. I don't have time for this right now. And it was always our troubles pull us near God. If we have everything, we would not be thankful for it. We would be like, oh, I have everything, so I don't have time for it right now. So every time it happens, like we are always skeptical about things. If I'm trying this, it's not happening, and someone says, oh, last time I went to this church, maybe if you go, your troubles would be out. I go, I knock. 1 week, nothing happened. 2 weeks, nothing happened. 3, 4, a month. I'm sorry, I'm going back. Because I did knock the door and it didn't work for me. I would be back. I would be back blaming things which are supposedly everyone's fault except mine. I would be blaming it on everyone except me. This is a couple of weeks back or months back, I don't remember. But I was reading through a book, and I found this quote where it says, my word sounds better coming from my mind than my mouth. So when you have your thoughts, which are really vigorously sad, you can use a prayer journal. This is not my idea completely. I have taken a consent and copyrights from Nicole because it's her idea. So when I was talking with her, and when like a couple of times she was talking about the prayer journal and everything, I was like, okay, which I never had one. And I don't have the concept of having a prayer journal. I thought everything can be in head. But I was wrong. Somewhere I was wrong. Because this would help you. How about you write now what you're feeling? How about you write how hopeless you are? Come back and check after 1 year. Are you in the same situation? Are you dealing the same troubles? No. What I am in 2020, I'm not the same. I'm not doing the same thing. Once there was COVID, I was sitting in the 4-room in front of my computer, and I'm talking with people who I would never see probably till the COVID is done. I just packed my bags only for 1 week thinking this is just a flu. And I ended up being in house for 3 years. Don't ask me what I was wearing throughout that. But it was only for 1 week I have packed it. But when you are sitting inside a room, that drives you crazy. I don't see my co-workers on a daily basis. I don't know what's happening in their lives. They don't know what's happening with me. It's round the clock. Sometimes people forget I live in India. Just because you people get up, that's where I need to sleep. There used to be people who used to torture me from US. Of course, not you. People who are my clients. Because they forget I sleep. They thought I was a mission. But that used to be a 24-hour circle because we don't have a 9-to-5 job anymore. And it used to sometimes throw me into depression. But now, am I the same person in 2020? No. Am I the same person which I'm 5 years back? Definitely not. Then why would my situations be the same? Why would I be hopeless? If I could come from something hopeless to being hopeful, why God can't take me out? Why would he leave me now? When he could bring me out of something, he could do it again, and again. It's all how I believe it. It's all how much I believe in him. Just because now I'm out of something, I would be like, okay, maybe next week I can go to church. I'll think about it. And now again I'm in trouble. Okay, I'm going next week, okay? It doesn't work that way. It should be consistent. How constantly he's pulling you out of things, we have to be constantly believing him, trusting him, because he's the only one. Now, I know I'm a kid, little bit, not then kid, because Mary Beth, you're not kid, but little bit. But still, I forgot what I want to tell Mary Beth. But no human can help us. When there is a trouble, we can't run. Mommy, Daddy, I have a trouble. They might help you to an extent, but they can't pull you out of it. But God can do that. Amen. He can do it. He can pull you out of anything. He can give you the hope which a human can never give you. There are times when I was coming here, I was so discouraged because it's a 7 months process. It's like 7 months no sleep. I was not able to give the time I need to give. And I told, I need some help. And I can see times where my father used to run to places where I can't be. And the one thing we had is money crunch. When I can't make it, he was like, how could you make that much big amount? How could you bring that much huge money into your bank? I said, I don't know. Can't we just go with the process and leave the final result to God? He's like, you have to think. You have to have a plan. I was like, I don't have a plan. Can we just go? That's an answer. I don't have an answer to the question. I don't have an answer to his questions. He was like, how much did you spend till now? How much did you save till now? I was like, half of my spending went for food. So I was left with nothing, I guess. So none of his questions I had an answer. But there was only one belief in me that something would happen. Then, once things are getting intense, I can see my aunt from my mother's side and her children started to help me. Amen. I used to go and I used to ask, do you have a little money which I can lend? You know, my first thing my cousin did is, so that she is my cousin, she did it, she transferred me some money. And from then, things felt in place. But again, my father would be like, you didn't have your visa till now, where are you going? Okay, it would happen. And I just resigned, and I know August 18th is my last working day. I didn't have hope. None of us had hope. They were like, she's dreaming really big. No one knows how it would happen. And then on August 2nd, when I went, before August 2nd, I went for my biometrics. And in this consulate, I came and I saw 5 people coming out. In that, I said, I spoke with 5. In 5, 3 people said their visa got rejected. And then when I came home and I said, oh, only 2 people got accepted and 3 got rejected. And everyone in my family said, why did you choose Hyderabad? Why can't you choose Chennai, some other consulates? Why did you choose Hyderabad? It has the highest rate of rejections. I said, I don't have time. But I had trust. I had the belief it would happen. There are a number of people telling me that this is an impossible thing which you're thinking. But somewhere I was like, let me do it. I don't want to regret in my life that I didn't try it. If it happens, it's well and good, but I don't have a backup plan. If it is rejected, I don't know what I would do because I already resigned. I don't have a backup plan. But then, things worked out. And after August 2nd, everything became surreal. I was like, people are pushing me, get up, you have to do this, get up, you have to do that. And I was like, can you give me a moment to breathe, please? Nope. And more than me, everyone are worried. But I'll tell you the beautiful thing is, even then I don't have money. I don't have money to pay for my fees. And my father used to talk with me in the middle of the night. What would you do, Sherly? Are you even thinking what to do? I said, can you please give me some break? I don't want to think about it. It will fall in place. Just right before I climbed my flight, maybe on 24th or 23rd, things worked out, and I got a loan. But if I would not have a loan, still I would come here. I would figure it out later what I would do it. But, okay, my father would not do that. But I was like, let me think. Let's go with the flow. But I would say that's where my life, I was so hopeless. Whoever I go and talk, they would be like, it's not really the dream you have to dream, maybe because you're financially not that good. But I know I'm not financially good, but he would inspire people. He would inspire people from somewhere or the other that could make it possible for me. And throughout the process, I had a number of people helping me who I didn't even see, all through calls. They never saw me even by my face. They don't even know how I look, but still they helped me. Wow. They even did help me. In one way or the other way, they helped me. I never met them, or neither they met me till date. But it all worked out. It all depends on how much we believe in God and how much our hopeless situations can be turning out. And that's all is matters. Don't bring someone between you and God, because that someone can ruin your faith and your belief really bad. And choice is ours how we decided. And that's what my prayer would be this afternoon. I'm so hungry, so that's the end of my sermon, I guess.